What's up, coaches? It's Coach Ross. It's Coach Ross Football. Welcome back to another video. In this video, we are breaking down a play that you can use in the red zone. Looks like a famous play that I talk about a lot on this channel, but there is some variation to it, so we're going to break it down right now. So welcome back to the channel. This is Coach Ross Football. If you're new to this channel we talk about everything we can about the spread offense, the air raid offense. We're talking passing schemes, running schemes, blocking techniques, practice plans, variations of different plays. So if that is something you're interested in, please consider subscribing to the channel. Also, like this video if you like it, and also share it out to other coaches who may see it and haven't really quite heard of the channel yet. So let's get into it. This is going to be a breakdown video of a play that I think you could possibly add into your offensive playbook here. So if you've watched my videos enough, you know that I'm a big, huge fan of the snag concept. And in my opinion, the snag concept is a very, very versatile type of concept that you can use basically full field, but I especially love it in the red zone. It's a wonderful play to take advantage of the red zone and the defense that you typically would normally see in the red zone. So a lot of advantages, but sometimes defenses kind of play and leverage themselves to take advantage of that or scheme up to take advantage of that and try and take that away. So you need to add some sort of variations. So the variation I'm going to talk about is something that looks very, very similar to snag, but it's a little bit different, obviously. So it's a variation that you could teach. So once you teach snag, you could potentially use this as a wrinkle for an opponent that maybe not hasn't seen it yet, or something that you see that you can take advantage of. And I'm talking about the double China 7 special. I know it's a crazy name, and we're going to kind of go over why it's called that here in a minute, but it looks like snag, hits a little bit different, but very, very similar and very, very similar as far as the areas of the field that it's trying to attack, but some nuances to it that definitely take advantage of that man defense that you're typically going to see down the red zone. So let's get into it. Before we get into the China double 7 special, I want to first go over basically what the basic snag concept would look like. So what we are going to have is you're going to have your snag concept, which is typically a one-step slant. And then he's going to sit down in this open window between the apex defender or that overhang defender and that nearest linebacker. There's a window right there that he's going to go and set up in and just show hands to the quarterback. Our number 2 receiver is going to run a 6-step corner route. Now, since we are in the red zone, his aiming point is going to be that back pylon of the end zone. And then our number 3 receiver is going to have that little flat route. And then on the backside, you can do a little bit of anything. Since we're kind of on that right hash, he's kind of out of room, so you could do almost like a slant type corner here, or just to try and get leverage and trying to occupy this safety if you see too high safety in the red zone like this. But a lot of times you might see like a cover 2 man under. But a lot of times you're going to see man defense, especially on the outside here. You're not going to see too much of a zone defense, but so you can do a lot of different things here. You can swing the back out. You can keep him inside to check for any kind of blitz that you might see. So that's the basic variation of snag. When we are talking about the double China 7 special, all right, breaking down the words here before we actually break down the play here. The word special, we'll talk about the last word in it. It's typically a tag used by a specific coaching staff or system to indicate a unique variation or a high leverage play that requires some sort of specific look or situation. So the situation here would be the red zone. Specific look in this case would be the alignment. Okay, so we're going to go by trips. So that's what the word special means. And the route combination is often called, when an offense anticipates man-to-man coverage, especially in the red zone. So next we're going to talk about the China route. Is a term used by coaches for a short, quick, in-breaking route, usually ran by the slot receiver or tight end. It's essentially a short square in and dig or slant. Its function in this play, especially the China route, is designed to be run underneath the corner route. Its main job is to create traffic and then pull the underneath defender, usually a linebacker or nickel corner, away from the sideline, setting up basically against a rub or a natural pick against that against that man cover. So basically what it's going to look like, and that is this defender here, he's going to run almost directly at this defender, the corner defender, but then he's going to come back into the window here. All right, so he's basically just trying to create a rub because we're expecting man coverage here, so it's going to be a rub right here. And the double in the double China 7 special is essentially, again, double does double China route. So in other words, is another in-breaking route. So this time we're going to talk about the outside receiver, the number 1 receiver, where he's going to break underneath here, expecting to carry this corner with him. So again, 7 here pops, or excuse me, the X receiver runs real low, shallow drag route here, trying to bring that corner with me, trying to bring that corner with him so that he has created space, because now this H receiver, the number 2 receiver, is going to run his angle route straight at that corner, essentially creating a little rub pick here. And on top of that, this nickel defender or this overhang defender is expected to go with H as well. So it's creating traffic to the outside here, hopefully in the hopes of popping open one of these 2 receivers here in this middle portion of the field. Again, exactly where that slant sit from the snag route would be. But again, the goal is to create traffic here. And so that's why that natural rub route comes in here. So again, double China routes means double in-breaking routes. They obviously just attack from different angles in different ways, but they're both adjacent to. Lastly, the 7 in that name, the double China 7 special, just refers to typical route trees of routes for receivers. The 7 route is typically that corner route. So again, we're still going to run a corner route with his number 3, 6 step, and then he is shooting for that back pylon here. So that's what we were trying to game, and we were trying to aim for this area of the field in hopes or expectation, I guess you would say, that the corner and this overhang defender are in man coverage and are going to try and lock down the receivers. So that's going to create a lot of space in the back of the end zone here. So that is the basic layout of the China 7 special. Now, as far as the backside, again, you can have a check release with your back swinging here. Again, you don't have much space, but typically you run this kind of play from a hash. So that backside receiver is going to need some space to move. So again, you could almost have him had a vertical corner, slant corner, however you want to do it, trying to take advantage of this area of the field here. You don't want to really drag that corner or even other safety closer to the middle field. So you want to kind of keep him on that side, on that boundary area of the field. But that right there is essentially the layout, or why it is called double China 7 special. So what essentially is the progression here? Well, the progression is very, very similar to snag in itself, and the only difference is you're not really going to have that flat read. So you're only going to really essentially have 2 reads, but it's such a quick hitting play that you're really only going to need those 2 reads. So just like snag, we peak this corner here. So again, if that corner is low, chances of that corner route being open is a good possibility. So we're going to look for the corner. So this is progression number 1, looking to the back corner of the end zone, because the position or leverage or the safety, more likely he's responsible for that number 3 receiver. He's given up a lot of room to the back of the end zone here. So therefore, that is where we're looking first. So again, again, the rules with snag still would be the same. If this corner bails out, all right, that corner route is going to be dead. Then we come down to the underneath player, the underneath defender. So again, the quarterback is going to peek this corner to see what he does. If he stays low, then he's immediately going to think, okay, now I have the corner route in the back of the end zone. If that's not there, or if that safety widens out to the point where he can actually get in position to take that, then your underneath throw is going to be there, because especially we are anticipating man defense here, man coverage. So having this China route coming in here, excuse me, and trying to break in and almost create a natural pick right here against that corner, and having also with the man defense, this apex or overhang defender widen out. The underneath little drag route right here pops open very, very quickly, so the quarterback can see it really quick. And so that is the read. It's essentially a 2-man read here. This slot receiver here is kind of just playing the pick portion of it. Now, obviously, defensive coaches will say, oh, that's a pick, that's an illegal play. yes and no. It can be looked at both ways. So this is the essential breakdown here. Now, granted, if you don't have nothing here, you can always check back with the backside here. To, are they giving us a gift on the backside? We can do anything we want with this route here, essentially, as long as we don't bring it across the field. So that is the progression of this China 7, double China 7 special. So for a few more things, before we hop into actually watching a video of the actual play, a couple coaching points I want to talk about again, just kind of reiterate. In the red zone, the defensive backs covering the H and the Y are often coached to pass routes or help inside. All right, that's typically what they're coached to do. So the China route creates traffic and makes that help impossible, leaving that corner route wide open in that corner of the end zone, which is what we're trying to hit. So again, all this traffic right here is what we want to create so that it opens up space for that number one read. On the backside, though, we have that Z receiver can run an isolation route. This is our second one-on-one option if the QB pre-snaps a favorable matchup. So at this point, with this kind of a picture, that's not a favorable matchup, obviously. So the quarterback's going to be looking towards the concept side, but we have that option. So what are the reads for the quarterback? All right, it's a clear three-tiered progression. So read one, the quarterback's primary read is that Y receiver on that corner or 7 route. If the defense is in man-to-man and that H receiver has created that rub or separation, the ball is thrown with anticipation to that back pylon for an easy touchdown. All right, read 2 would be the short gain. The short gain. If the defense is in a soft zone like cover 2, which more than likely they're not going to be, or the cornerback stays sticky on the Y, the QB immediately snaps his eyes down to that H receiver on the China route. This is a quick, high percentage throw that moves the chains or gets the defense on their heels. Okay, so that H comes back and then goes out, flares out, and then comes right back into the space. And then lastly, we had that backside option. If the front side is covered, but more likely to be playing man, so the front side more likely is going to be the way to go. However, if it isn't, the quarterback bails out to the Z receiver, the isolation route for the backside one-on-one. Or there also is that check down to the running back in the flats, just in case. So last couple little things here that we're going to talk about. The double China 7 special is a classic for a reason. It uses simple routes to create complex problems for the defense, especially against man defense. So a couple things. Remember these keys. Alignment. Use a tight split to force man coverage defenders inside. That's one way you can do it. Okay, so a tight split. All right. H route. The H route running that China hard and fast to pull the defense into that rub. So in other words, that apex defender, you want to pull him into that corner route and create a lot of traffic right here. And if they're in man, that's going to be hard to combat, hard to get around, and they're going to have to adjust. And lastly, throw that 7 route or that corner route with anticipation. It's gonna be there, especially if they're a man. It's gonna be there. If that corner does not bail out into a deep third, that corner route is gonna be there. Throw that receiver open. Here we're gonna look at it real quick. Okay, so again, I'm just gonna draw the routes real fast. We have that corner route coming out here. He has that one China route where he's gonna in here and he's gonna create traffic, and then he's supposed to come back in here. And then we have a little drag route right here. Again, messing with these defenders right here. Okay, so right now that leverage right here, this tells the quarterback, just that pre-snap leverage right there, that corner ball is going to be open. All right, by alignment. It's right now that is open by alignment because right now that safety is inside the hashes. So it's hard for him to get outside leverage on that corner ball. So we know the quarterback knows just by alignment alone that he has a shot at that corner ball, which is his number one read. I'm going to go ahead and play it through here just to show you what it looks like in real time. I'm going to pause it here because you can see the traffic that is created right here. So if that corner ball is not wide open, or excuse me, if that safety is a little bit more outside and can make a better jump on that corner route, then you can see the amount of space that is leveraged for the outside receiver, which in this case would be X coming in on that first China route right into that space where that overhang defender vacated because he's trying to stay with his slot receiver responsibility.
The cortex in the brain finally has a capacity to support a subjective experience.
And essentially, both would have been a walk-in touchdown. Now we're going to look at it from a little bit closer view of the actual receivers themselves as opposed to the full field view. So we're just looking at this half portion of the field here. And you can see the leverage right here. Right now, this leverage tells us man defense, right? Eyes to the receiver, eyes to the receiver, eyes to the receiver. They're telling us it's man defense for the most part. Okay. So again, quarterback looks, his number one progression is going to be that corner ball because of all that space that's there. Right now, by alignment, just by a defense alignment, he knows that his number one read is open by alignments right now. So that's probably where he's going with the football, especially with this safety being this far inside on the hashes right there. He has given him that corner route. So he's got no help. So that's where he's going. And then if that is not there and that safety would happen to widen out again, then he can look there. He still peeks this cornerback right here. He still peeks to see if that cornerback doesn't bail real fast and kind of is bluffing on his alignment right now. So he's going to peek corner. Then he's going to look and see that space is there. If not, he comes down to a 2-3 read, which would be 1-2. All right, so 2 and then 3 would be here. Excuse me, actually, I had that backwards. 2, then 3. All right, and it's the same thing with snag. Snag, corner route would be the middle guy, and you could do it either way, but corner route typically is that middle man. And here's your slant sit. Here's your flat route. And so, again, same idea. Is the corner is my number one read open by alignment? Okay, right now it is because if we were running snag, he would be running the corner route. The corner route is still wide open, so quarterback still would snap the ball. He'd peek this corner because this is the only player that could really give that corner ball, make a play on it. Would peek that corner to see if he doesn't bail. If he doesn't bail, then he's throwing that corner all day, which again is exactly what happens here. So there you have it. That's the breakdown of the double China 7 special. So what is your favorite red zone play? Drop it down in the comments below. Also, if you want more of these breakdowns, these breakdowns of plays like this, or more additions to variations of some certain concepts, especially ran in the air raid offense, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. Also drop in the comments what schemes you may want to see, what kind of concepts you may want to see, and I look forward to seeing everybody in the next video. Thanks for watching.